Begin. Hello, dear Toastmasters and dear guests. I, Kashish Jain, the acting sergeant at arms, invites you all to the meeting number 432nd. If you are looking for a friendly, supportive, and positive environment where people encourages you, lifts you up, and enhances your skills, then my dear friends, you must look for Toastmasters Club. The club has already served and is serving a large number of people to achieve their personal goals as well as professional goals. People join for numerous reasons. Some to enhance their personality, some for networking, and some to discover their own potential. Now, I would like to share with you all the mission of our club. We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, which results in greater self confidence and personal growth. With this, I would like to introduce you all to the president of Central Delhi Toastmasters Club. She is full of integrity and has a good communication skill. She has a she's good in strategic planning and always shows a positive attitude. She's confident and optimistic. Now, please help me welcome the president of our club, Toastmaster Shivangi Mittal.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kashish, for that great introduction. Well, before we move ahead, I would request everyone to close their eyes and let's pray for world peace for 30 seconds. Right. Thank you, everyone. Today, I want to talk about habits. How many of us vowed to work out more often when we joined the gym? How many of us vowed that we would brush our teeth before bed? How many of us vowed that we will not touch the cell phone first thing in the morning? Well, we do make resolutions, but we end up losing momentum after a few days and get back to the old routine. Now, people join Toastmasters very enthusiastically, and they always make resolutions that they will practice their speeches every day and they will deliver them to the perfection. But in the end, they often end up cramming the speech hours before it. Well, many of us here are guilty of doing that. But let me request that you don't lose momentum. Small tasks add up to big accomplishments. So try to put the Toastmasters projects on your daily to-do lists. Challenge yourself to give one speech every month. Once you write down a speech, practice to deliver it for at least 1 to 2 weeks. Start with just 5 minutes a day. Start by practicing the speech just once a day. Start small. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Start small. Start now. On that note, let me welcome the newest members of our club, Toastmaster Mayuri, Toastmaster Navya, and Toastmaster Shalu. Let's clap and welcome them. A very warm welcome to the club to all of you. And also joining us today are some guests. I would request you all to kindly switch on your cameras and introduce yourselves to the club. Let's start with guest Zuhaib. Would you like to go first? Tell us about yourself and how you got to know about the club. Zuhaib, we can't hear you if you are saying something.
Am I audible now?
Yes, you're audible.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Zuhaib.
Good. So, actually, I've been looking for a community where, associating with that community, I can enhance my certain skills like communication skills, public speaking skills, and as well as leadership skills. So, I've been searching for such community, and I mean, I did my search on Toastmasters, and I found your number and contacted you. Then I got to know certain things, and now I'm here as you allowed me to participate here. And thank you for letting me in. Thank you.
Thank you, Zuhaib, for sharing that. And we hope you achieve all your goals as part of CDTM.
Yeah, sure. If you help me to achieve my goals in my life.
Definitely. Next, can we invite guest Loveleen? She seems to have dropped off. Guest Anjani, would you like to go next? Anjani, are you able to hear us? All right, let's move to another guest, JD. Could you please share your name and introduce yourself to us?
Yes, thank you all so much. I'm Joy. I, much like Zuhaib, have heard about Toastmasters, but never participated. As we get over COVID and start to interact, I find the public speaking skills to be something I can work on. I have heard interesting things. This is my first actual experience, and the fact that we are available on Zoom is very helpful because I travel much for work, so I'm not always in Delhi. So this is great, and I'm glad to join, and thank you for the invitation, and I'm looking forward to you. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that, Joy, and we hope you have a good time today.
Thank you.
Next, can I invite guest Muskan? Muskan, are you able to hear us? Guest Sayed, would you like to go next? All right, our guests seem to be scared of public speaking. Well, you are on the right doors, but you need to make the first step. Get out of that fear, introduce yourselves. Any of the guests who would like to go next? Guest Shantanu, would you like to go next? All right, well, that's a scary day for all the... Hi.
Hello.
Guest Shantanu, can we please request you to switch on your camera?
Okay.
Hi, Shantanu.
Yeah, hello. Myself Shantanu. I am just joined. I am from Gwalior. I do not belongs to Delhi. So I was searching for the place where I can enhance my communication skills and face my public speaking fear to speak in the public. So I'm a kind of a shy person, so I do not speak much in the public. So in Gwalior, there is no as such public places where you can speak with the public openly. So I am searching for a place where I can speak myself and able to explain and communicate with all of you who have joined. So thank you for letting me in. I hope to learn something from here, and that will help in my personal and public life. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that, Shantinu, and we hope you are able to get out of that fear with Toastmasters. Well, a very warm welcome to all the guests. We also have a special segment for you today called the Table Topics, which will be conducted by Toastmasters Spashata. Here you can participate and practice your impromptu speaking skills. And I would also request you all to stay till the end to understand how the meeting works. And in the end, you can share your experiences and you can ask any questions. Well, now it's time to invite the host for today's meeting. So help me welcome on the stage Toastmaster of the Day, Ritwik Dash, with his theme, Tiffin Box of Tales. Tiffin Box of Tales, Toastmaster Ritwik Dash.
अच्छा चलता हूँ दुआओं में याद रखना. The last line of my school farewell speech. I know it was very emotional. I know that day was maybe the last official day of me coming in the daily routine in my cycle and meeting with friends, looking at those cute faces of my teachers and obviously those uncles and aunts. Today, I won't be giving you insights of how school life is because we all know that. But as the theme goes, Tiffin Box of Tales, it's just going to be full of stories in all my segments. Now, before I move to my theme, I would love to tell you something about today's structure that I'm going to move forward with. First, I will be calling my battalion of auxiliary role players who will come and introduce their theme, their work, and will present a report in their general evaluation segment. And then I will be moving towards the table topic segment and at the end, the evaluation process. So with all these three segments will come a different tale for you. Obviously, it's going to be a person school life story. But for the time being, let me tell you a story. It was during my ICSE and my ISC, both the times, that I used to come to school to study. Given the fact I didn't have that environment in my home, given the fact that when my exams used to go, it was a festive season and there was a club nearby who used to always go on playing loudspeakers. So it was obviously not uh, something that I will be having as an environment for studying, especially in the last 3-4 months. So my principal sir, whom I revere a lot, trust me, he is the man who made me. Okay, he is the person who was the most accessible person in this whole school, and he made the institution what it is today. So he gave me this permission to come to school when after the selection exams were over and study there. And my mother used to make my lunch. I used to carry a tiffin box, a lunch box. I used to go to the school, I used to study, and then I went to have a lunch. And I used to have a lunch in a sort of kitchen where the hostelers used to have their meals. And there was this incident that happened, given the fact I had great relations with uncles and aunties, whom the world calls Group D. I don't know what they are, but to me, they are my uncles and aunts. I have a relation with them, if not a blood relation. It was that day that I realized relationships can overcome the so-called transactional relationships. I was having my food as my mom gave me my tiffin box. It was a normal curry. It was rice. But that day, my mother didn't give me any vegetables. I remember those uncles and aunts taking a scoop from the school meal, because if you want to have a meal in the school, you have to pay in the office. But that day, without taking any fees, because in this materialistic world, unfortunately, money is everything. But that day, my uncles and aunties proved that maybe money is still not everything. They gave me a scoop of vegetable and I ate sumptuously. Trust me, it was a great moment for me. So, with this tale, I have learned that maybe sometimes relationships are so pure so chaste, then we should respect that. Just because someone is a waiter doesn't mean I'll go and call him in such a way as if to undermine or demean his position. We all are brothers, we all are of the same flesh and blood. So that's a lesson I learned from my school life, from the uncles and aunties, whom the world calls Group B. But to me, they were our Group A also. Therefore, with this day, let me call you on the stage my battalion of auxiliary role players. The first on the line is Darshan Singh, the timer of today's meeting. He is personally pursuing electrical electronics engineering from Indraprastha universities. His hobbies are photography and literature. And down the memory lane, he remembers a group project that he did in his school, for which he got in the top 3 selected groups. And this thing always comes in his memories and rejuvenates him. With all that being said, let me call you on the stage, TM Darshan. TM Darshan, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Good evening, everyone. Well, I still remember time plays a lot role in my school time. I still remember an incident that happened with me. It was an annual day of my school, and I was just about to reach at time, but things happened differently. I could not reach, and I had to receive an award on that day. It was annual day and award ceremony, and photo will be taken with the chief guest, and it was Chief Minister of Delhi at that time, Shrimati Sheila Dikshit. So I missed that. Although I got the award later, but somebody else got photographed with that, and I just missed. Why did I miss? I didn't slept at time. I didn't woke up at time. I didn't reach my school at time. You see, time plays a lot important role in your life, and if you're a school student, it plays a lot more role. So this was one of the things I regret, that not being able to reach school at time. So there are a lot other more aspects also. So on that note, uh, in the Toastmasters, we can relate time. Like we have 3 speakers lined up today, and then we have the table topic sessions, and then we have the evaluation segments. So I'll share my screen and we'll let you know what is the procedure of the time duration. Just a second. So is the screen visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay, so we don't have icebreaker today, so I'll just go straight to speech segment for other speeches. So all the 3 speakers today have to speak within the given frame of time, that is 5 to 7 minutes. And for the table topic speakers, they have to speak 1 to 2 minutes. And for the speech evaluators, they have to speak within 2 to 3 minutes. There is a buffer time of 30 seconds on the lower side for the speech segments and on the upper side also. But there is only upper side for the table topic speakers and the speech evaluators. I'll be showing the I'll be showing the colored cards so that you get alert that you have to conclude your speech within the given frame of time. So green card will be shown at 5 minutes for the speakers, yellow at 6, red at 7. For the table topic speakers, green at 1 minute, yellow at 1.5, and red at 2 minutes. And for the speech evaluators, green at 2 minutes, yellow at 2.5, and red at 3 minutes. So I'll share my report in the evaluations segment. So that's all from me. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Darshan, for that superb, that very concise introduction to your role. Now let's move forward to the next auxiliary role player. We have Mayuri, TM Mayuri as our accounter. Well, she's a field person, resource person working at the Azim Premji Foundation and have experience in teaching primary students as well. Her favorite memory of school life among those different foods from different culture that her friends used to belong to and used to bring, and she used to savour through it. Okay, even I am also a foodie, to be very honest. Well, without any further ado, Mayuri, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster. So, remembering of tales from a Tiffin box. I have lived my school life twice, once as a student and once as a primary teacher. And while thinking about this theme, I realized that not our tales are filled with happiness and sweet nostalgia. There are few memories which are filled with shame, regret, and sadness. I'm sure we all have that one friend, one school friend whom we don't call anymore and are in touch with anymore. But at Central Delhi Toastmasters, that must not be the same. You can have much more happier tales here. Good evening, everyone. I am going to play the role of our counter today. And while speaking, we may come across many instances of ahs and ums and even long and short which are awkward. So today I will be taking note of such filler words as an R counter. And those filler words, filler phrases and filler words would be filler sounds like R's and ums, filler words like so, like, that, filler repetitive phrases like I mean, you know, or even long and short phrases. Such fillers always take away the attention of the listeners away from the main content of your speech. Everyone to hit that and do not use the fillers as much as possible. I wish you all the best, everyone, and hope you all do great. Thank you so much. I will be presenting my report towards the evaluation section. So thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Accountant, for that concise introduction to your role. I must say, I will try not to use such fillers. Let's now go to someone else who has to present her collegiality to the battalion of auxiliary role players, Anushka, as the language evaluator. Please, the stage is yours.
Thank you, TM Ritwik. I remember how we students used to pull out silly pranks at each other and throw paper planes when teacher used to turn around towards the blackboard. School days, especially middle school and junior school, were epitome of innocence and being adorably mischievous. We learned so much from school as it was a basic foundation of learning. And yes, one important subject was language. It was English and Hindi and any other language that was taught thoroughly. 12 years of school, and we were taught how important language was. Well, it is. Language is a vital part of human connection. It is very important to use correct usage of language that, that fits your audience and matches your purpose. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I'm Anushka. I will be playing the role of language evaluator today. I will be evaluating good usages and not so good usages during the meeting. The medium of the meeting is English, and the usage of any other language needs to be translated back to English. Let's move on to the word of the day, collegiality, which means companionship or cooperation between colleagues who share responsibility. One of the examples are the girls in soccer team won the match through collegiality and practice. The team worked with collegiality and determination. So let's use word of the day actively throughout the meeting and gives a thumbs up whenever the word is being mentioned. I will be presenting my report during the evaluation segment. Thank you. Over to you, TM Ritwik.
Thank you, language evaluator, for the short and crisp report of your introduction to your role. By the way, I must say, I'll also say that collegiality or esprit de corps is very important when it comes to, attending and conducting a session, but there can be some mistakes while you're conducting it as far as professionalism is concerned. Now, to have a look at our professionalism, have a look at the work ethics of the meeting, now let's call the parliamentary of today's meeting. That's Navya. On the stage is yours.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. I'm Navya and I'll be playing the role of parliamentarian today. Now, today's theme itself drives us back to our school days. Then how can we forget that one habit which all our elders urged us to inculcate in our lifestyle? Discipline. And that's what I'm going to be looking into today. Here are some rules which I want you all to follow throughout the meeting to make this meeting a comfortable space for everyone. Everyone should keep their audios muted until and unless there's a need to speak. The phones should be kept on silent throughout the meeting. Videos should be on throughout the meeting in order to encourage the speakers. No one should indulge in any form of eating in the meeting. No negative references to caste, race, or class should be made. Sex, politics, and religion, these topics are not taboo but should be spoken with a sensitive behavior. And I hope everyone will follow these rules. I'll present my report in the evaluation segment. Back to you, TM Modi.
Thank you, TM Navya, for that super introduction to your role. Now, I must say, when we are having a meeting, we are speaking, maybe talking a lot may compromise on our listening side too. Then why not to have someone to look at that skill of ours too? Because listening is also very important. So we have TM Sanchit to do that role. TM Sanchit, the listener of today's evening, the stage is yours.
Hello, everyone. The school life, those 12 substantial years, play a very important role in shaping of one's personality. I remember when I was in a school, I used to sit on the last bench with my 4 to 5 friends. Teacher used to come and started teaching, and at the end of lecture used to ask the questions from the students, except me and my friends. Why? Because we did not use to listen teachers carefully, resulted bad marks in examination with bad image in the classroom. Good listening skills not only build a good relationship with teachers or any other person, but makes our personality better. So always be attentive, observant, so that you may connect the speaker, because next day you will also face the same thing when while you will be standing before the audience. I will be playing the role of listener and will frame some questions that will be asked to you in the evaluation segment. You may answer them and check your listening skills. Thank you. Back to Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much for the incisive introduction to your role. Now let's move forward to have someone to tickle our funny bones and to satiate our laughter tanks. So we have a joke master, Samir, on the stage.
Hi, good evening, everyone. So I'm not sure whether I can put some smile on your face, but yes, really, our school days, is a really funniest one, where we do all the jokes, all pranks within the friend circle, or with the teachers, or back of anybody. So it's all means we do as a collegiality, right? As a teamwork. So sometime means as person I used to prank behind the teachers whenever they screwed us. So and once they means they move outside the class, so we used to put some funny comments on them, and then again they return back and screwed us again. So with this, I'll say school school days are the days where one can learn fun and do so many things and which you remember throughout your life. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that insightful thing that I just said. But let me tell you something. I remember that day when I first spoke. Okay, it was a day in the National Children's Science Congress. It's a competition of people, students coming from different corners of the country. It goes on a district level, state level, and the national level. And I remember my first speech. It was on my project. I was a team leader. Literally speaking, My legs were trembling. But I saw something and I discovered maybe an epiphany. And I also gave a speech on this. When we start speaking, gradually the fear goes out. So now that I'm speaking, but when Mr. TM Samir was telling his jokes on his school life, that time I was more tensed. But now that I'm speaking, I don't know why, but I'm very much relaxed. The same thing happened on that day. My first speech. I came seventh in the district. It was my first speech. And I really felt very proud of myself. My first speech came to be so successful, gave me an impetus to my career, to my dreams of becoming a better orator in future. No wonder my father was also a great orator. He was a politician, by the way. I saw him speaking once, and he gave me some sort of teaching of how to, add stars to your speech. And that's how I became a public speaker. And no wonder Toastmasters has given me a community where I can hone that skill and take that skill forward. Thank you so much to the Toastmasters community for this. Now that I've talked about speeches, let's dive in towards the prepared speeches section. Speakers, fingers crossed, right? Yeah, you'll be. You will be tense right now. But trust me, when you come into speech, all that fear will go out. Trust me. Now, with all our first speaker coming up is Shivangi Mittal. She's a commerce student from Delhi University, contemplating life one speech at a time. And when I asked her about her favorite school memory, it's her favorite spot was her ground stairs, from where she could have an entire view of the school ground. Same here, Shivangi, same. Now, before I call her on the stage, let me call her evaluator first. So, the evaluator, please come up and give an introduction of her project details.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. I hope you all are doing great. Well, today, Toastmaster Shivangi is all set to give her a speech for Level 1, Project 3. Her pathway is persuasive influence. The purpose of this project is to learn basic research methods and present a well-organized and well-researched presentation. I'm sure the speaker is going to excel as always. I wish all the very best to her. Over to you, TMOD.
Thank you for that concise introduction to her project details. Obviously, she will surely excel. So we have TM Shivangi Mittal, Hobson's Choice. Hobson's Choice, TM Shivangi Mittal.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ritvik. Dearest audience members, at every Toastmasters meeting, a speaker always comes prepared with a topic. You know the drill, right? The evaluator will announce what is to be done, the speaker will do it, the audience will take it. But do you think it's unfair that you have no choice but to hear it? Well, let's try and change that. Today, I give you the power. Today, the audience gets to decide what they'd like to hear. So get ready to cast your votes, because at certain points of my story, I will be releasing votes and you get to decide what happens next. Well, the story is about the modern world, where millennials have to make some tough choices about careers and relationships. One such millennial, Hobson, was a software developer working on his dream project. He wanted to build a revolutionary video game. He pitched this idea to a video game company and got a job offer to build this app for them. This was big, because not only does he get to work on his dream project, but he also gets a regular paycheck at month end. Of course, terms and conditions applied. But you know what else is thrilling? Startup. Being your own boss. So here is Hobson's first dilemma. Corporate job or startup? You decide. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hobson decided to go for a startup. he started working on his dream project with a small team. Now, due to unrealistic expectations and fierce competition, they found it very difficult to scale up. The result was sorrow. Now, while all that was happening in his professional life, apparently the clock was also ticking for him to start thinking about his personal life. The pressure from parents was getting real. They insisted that he should get married and everything else will fall into place sooner or later. So here is Hobson's next dilemma. Should he get married or focus on his career? You decide. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hobson decided to focus on his career. The plan was that he would work hard, get to a point where he is independent, and then get married. So with years of hard work and tons of borrowed capital, he was able to grow his startup to a sustainable level. Eventually, he got married. He had kids, life changed, so did priorities. After a few years, an MNC offered to acquire his startup at a fair valuation, and they also offered him to work under them with a handsome pay package. Now, at this point, he found himself in the same dilemma yet again. Should he go for the secure corporate job where he gets a regular paycheck such that he's able to secure his family's future? Or should he continue to build his dream project, his startup? You decide. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hobson decided to only chase his dreams. He decided to continue working on the startup, his dream project. Now, with years of hard work, they were fully focusing on scaling up. Luckily, they were able to get an investor to fund their project. They were able to build a customer base, break even, monetize, and what came next was a success story for thousands to follow. Now let's take a step back and think. What would have happened if he had made a different choice? How different would his life be? You see, had he gone for a corporate job in the very beginning, he would be working on this project with a team of experienced developers. The app would be built, it would have gotten released, but under the company's name. Remember, terms and conditions applied. And the result, much like the startup, would have been sorrow initially. Eventually, he would get married or focus on his career. He would have kids, his priorities would change. And with years of working in the corporate, he would now have the expertise and the network to quit and build his startup. At this point, he would find himself with a choice to either go for the safe and secure corporate job and secure the future of his family, where he would find his happiness in the contentment that he would get with his life. If he would take the risk, if he would take that leap of faith and go for a startup, and he go on to build that startup, his success would be what would bring him that happy ending. Notice how either of the outcomes would have led to the same destination, a happy ending. Well, maybe life is sometimes like Hobson's choice. The paths we choose might be different, but isn't the ultimate destination happiness? Well, that was a story of your choice. Or was there an illusion of choice? You decide. Over to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Give her a thunderous round of applause. Trust me, I've never seen such an innovative speech. Trust me. I'll surely take this and do something like it. Well, for the audience, take 30 seconds to give her a feedback in the chat box. So I'll wait for 10 seconds. So please give her a feedback. Hobson's choice. Okay. Now that we have got our first speech. Let's now go to a second speaker. She is a chartered accountant by profession. She tells me that when she was in class 7, her English teacher asked her to check the homework of all the students in the class. And unfortunately, she also didn't do her homework. And when she went to check everyone else's homeworks, she took a lot of time to do that. Why? So that the bell rings and her homework is not called. Very innovative, I must say, like Hobson's choice of Shivangi Mittal. So, with all that being said, it's none other than our TM Achal Jain. But before we delve into her speech, let's call our evaluator, DTM, Deepak Menon, to describe her project details.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, dear guests, and our speaker, Toastmaster Anshul Jain. Very good evening to all of you and welcome to another project dealing with researching and presenting. Yes, indeed. This project that is being presented today by our speaker is also about researching and presenting. This is from the Dynamic Leadership Path, and this is the 4th project from the first level. And in this project, my fellow chartered accountant is going to be speaking about the purpose of researching. She's going to be also talking about the basic research that she has undertaken, the methods that she's used, and based on that, she will present a well-organized, well-researched speech on the topic of her choice. What is going to be that topic will be unveiled very shortly. So don't wait too much, because our Toastmaster of the day is going to do it for you. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you so much for the succinct introduction to her project details. Now we have on our stage TMR children. Very relatable. How to overcome procrastination. How to overcome procrastination, TMR children.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. What is procrastination? Procrastination is the action of delaying voluntarily and unnecessarily delaying something, despite knowing that there will be negative consequences of doing so. Hope you remember something that was discussed in earlier meetings. Not yet. Okay, let me help you with the same example that was taken a few weeks back. The story of a frog. The story of a frog which was put into a vessel of boiling water. And when it was not able to adjust its body temperature, it decides to jump out of the water. But because of loss of strength, unable to do so. And eventually it dies. While something important was left to be discussed in previous meeting, what was that? Do any of you remember that? Yes, absolutely. It was how to overcome procrastination. Whereas I was also procrastinating to share these great ideas until I was asked to deliver a speech. This urge insisted me to share this beautiful concept in today's meeting. Now, let me give you the broad ideas. If these ideas are religiously followed, it will definitely bring success to your doorstep. So, without further delay, let me put them in front of you, point by point. Every day, you wake up in the morning. Start doing the most difficult, the most tedious, and the tricky tasks you would do all day long. These are the tasks you are most likely to procrastinate on. These are also the tasks which are most likely to have significant impact on your life. Tip number 1, be clear about your goals. Having clarity is very important as it increases your productivity and efficiency. So what can be the steps? Decide what all things you want to achieve in a life. Discuss it with your well-wishers, maybe your parents, your friends, your teachers, someone you admire the most, someone who is your idol, someone who is quite collegial. Pick up a pen and a paper and write down your goals. It need not necessarily be a single goal. It can be a combination of two or multiple. Like, I want to learn driving a car. I want to practice my communication skills. I have taken up a course and I have to complete it. And this list goes on, like your list also. So the next thing you can do is set a deadline for all your tasks. Make a list of all the subtasks that are integral towards achieving a main task. Keep adding to the list with that as the time progresses. Make a plan on how you are going to achieve it. Take action immediately. Remember, take action immediately. Now moving to the second tip. Remember this, plan your day in advance. Most of us are big procrastinators. Only a few of us have the habit of planning our day in advance. Now, if I talk about myself, when I wake up in the morning, I decide what task to do next. Once that task is complete, then what task? And this continues to goes on. By the end of the day, I feel as if I had done a lot of work. My schedule was quite busy. But as I look back at my past, look at my day, how productive my day was, I feel I have not done enough. This could be your story also. So the urge here is plan your day in advance. That will save a lot of time. So here's a roadmap to be followed. Write down a list. Take a pen and a paper first. Write a list. This list should include everything which needs to be done during the day. Work from the list. This list should act as a reference point. Any new idea that comes to your mind, add to the list and work from that list. Now, update your list. There may be instances where some part of work which needs to be done during the day that remain unfinished. So that work needs to be shifted to the next day. So updation of list is very essential. Plus, ticking off the tasks which have been done will bring confidence and boost your energy. 4 types of lists can be used to help you with this. First one is the master list. Any idea, any sort of idea that comes to your mind, that should be included in that list. After that comes the monthly list. This monthly list should contain all the monthly tasks. Next is the weekly list. Weekly list is actually the subset of monthly list. It contains all the tasks that needs to be completed within the week. Then finally, the daily list, where all tasks which have been done needs to be ticked so that it can boost your energy and confidence. Now, as you start doing this, you will feel that your mind, which was earlier occupied with lots of tasks to do, is now relieved. And as you have written down everything which needs to be done, and also ticking off the task will give confidence to work hard for the next day. Tip number 3, apply 80-20 rule. Brian Tracy suggests that 20% of your activities account for 80% of your results. 20% of your products or services account for 80% of your profits. 20% of your customers account for 80% of your sales. Like earlier said, start your day with the most tedious task. Stop working. Refuse to work on the bottom 80% if you have still top 20% left to be done. If this practice is inculcated in your habits, This will help you, give you the habit of focusing on critical tasks first. And the last tip, practice the ABCDE technique. What is ABCD method? It is a prioritizing technique that needs to be done on daily basis. The main difference between success and failure is what tasks you choose to procrastinate on. Everybody procrastinates, but the task which you decide to procrastinate on will decide your success or failure. So these are few of the tips which, if included in one's life, will bring success. My dear friends, do you agree with these tips? Are you going to implement these in your life? Do drop a message in the comment section. Thank you for your patient listening.
A huge round of applause for her. Surely we will take up the tips and recommendations from you, given the fact, I don't know why, but even I am also a procrastinator. And please give her a feedback. And I don't know about the coincidence, but some days back only, I had this sort of data analysis project given by my teacher, and I procrastinated. Today, 11:59 p.m. is the deadline. I haven't done the project. After this meeting, I have to do it. So procrastination is in front of my eyes, but surely I'll take the tips and try to excel and implement them in my life. Give her a feedback and whether you'll be following our tips or not. But before I go to the third speech, I have a small request for you. Can you just tell me how can a person speak to a wall? The same way, if you do not open up your cameras, show your beautiful face, your smile, your feedback, your gestures, how can we understand how you getting perceiving the message? The same way, we would request everyone to please turn on your cameras for better communication and a true traffic communication. Now, next on the third speaker, we have Rashmi ma'am. She is obviously a teacher, English teacher, and coincidentally, she used to love her English teacher. And when her English teacher was shifted to Ludhiana because her husband was getting transferred, she cried a lot and bitterly, as she said. And she remembered hugging her and crying on her shoulders for a long time on her last day in the school. Ma'am, I must say similar experience, but for a different teacher, history teacher in my case. But before I call her on the stage, let's bring her evaluator, TM Kashish Jain, with the project details.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and the dear guests. The speaker number 3, Toastmaster Rashmi Sikri, is delivering her Level 2 Project 1 speech from the Pathways Innovative Planning. The title is Am I a Leader? So I wish her all the very best. Speak by your heart and break a leg. Over to you, DMOD.
Thank you for the compendious introduction to her project details. Now we have Rashmi ma'am. Am I a leader? Am I a leader? TM Rashmi Sikri. The stage is yours.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and DMs. Today I am going to share a story of my personal dilemma with you. After I completed my first project, first level, then I decided to browse level 2. There I came across a questionnaire which had to be completed to find out what kind of leader am I. After completing the questionnaire, believe me, even after completing the questionnaire, I was in a fix. There were so many questions that rattled my brain. I asked myself, am I a leader? If I am a leader, do I emulate somebody? And if I do emulate somebody, have I imbibed any virtues from them? Any leadership qualities from them? And if I have imbibed any, have I used them to shape the life of anybody? These questions stormed my brain day and night. But I was at a loss. I could not decide and find out the answers. One fine day, I decided to pull up my socks and revisit my past for the answers. So I decided to start from my childhood. During my childhood, people from all walks of life used to consider freedom fighters as their role models. Whether you were standing in a school corridor, or you were in the corridor of a hospital, or in a showroom, or in a bank, everywhere you could find the pictures of freedom fighters displayed on the walls. But as far as I am concerned, three faces enticed me completely throughout my childhood. The first one was brave Bhagat Singh, who always adorned a smart hat on his head. And second, the courageous Chandrasekhar Azad, who was always seen twisting his mustache. And third, the self-sacrificing Subhash Chandra Bose, who could be seen adorning the army uniform and a Netaji cap on his head. These three people inspired me a lot, enticed me a lot. Their selflessness, their patriotism, and their bravery to stand against the injustice of Britishers inspired millions of Indians at that time. Well, humming the patriotic songs, I grew up to be a teenager. I realized that I had become fond of two more faces. The first one of my mother, and second one of the Iron Lady, Mrs. Indira Gandhi. Yes, their courage and determination to take decisions and their powerful, strong voice always inspired me, had a great influence on me. And when I became a girl of 20, the face that I started adoring was neither beautiful nor charming, but his honesty, his dedication, his hard work, optimism, and the power to ignite the minds of youth completely mesmerized me. When I read his autobiography, Wings on Fire, it was an eye-opener for me. Yes, I am talking about People's President and the great leader, Mr. APJ Abdul Kalam, the missile man of India. Yes, after some time, I became a teacher. Soon I realized that this was the most challenging job on earth. Leading, guiding, motivating hundreds of children with clear vision every day became a part and parcel of my life. With each passing day, I became more confident and more communicative, as well as I was able to face the challenges of ever-changing education system. Not only this, I also learned how to present seminars and deal with hundreds of parents during the weekends. This also added the art of collegiality and made me more and better communicator. Well, how can I forget about the adaptability power, the art of adaptability that I learned with each passing year, because I had to deal different students with different needs in different classrooms. Believe me, I had learned to deal with the pampered pop-ons of my classroom by following CRC policy, commendation and recommendation, after the education policy turned completely child-centered. Yes, and what to talk of adaptability power? Not only I, the teachers all over India have proved that how efficiently they had taken to online teaching, as efficiently as duck takes to water. So after revisiting all these years and all these moments, I realized one thing, that yes, I am a leader. Neither autocratic nor democratic, rather a humble one, who has been working relentlessly and selflessly to shape the life of hundreds of students every year without expecting even an iota of recognition in return. And I was ecstatic, I was very happy that at last I have got the answer. And I realized one more thing, that not only I, rather each one of us who knows the way, who goes the way and shows the way is a leader. Do you agree with me, Mr. Toastmaster?
Surely I do. And I also believe you are actually a humble leader, someone who will shape the minds of the coming, buds of this nation. And no wonder I'm also a huge fan of, a follower of Bhagat Singh and Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. With all that being said, it was a great speech. I would request everyone to give her a feedback. Now comes, sorry, let's go to the ballots now. We have the ballots. I would request the tech master to release the ballots for the best speaker.
The polls are now on everyone's screens. Please vote for the speaker who you thought was the best today. We have almost all the votes in. Waiting for a few more seconds. Everyone, including the guests, is requested to vote. All right, thank you. Over to you, Ms. Master.
You still have a work. Did you forget or not? Yeah, you got it right. Monthly award section, the most interesting part of every month. Fingers crossed, Toastmasters. Now I'm going to call the president to again take the stage and release the results. The stage is yours, Sheila.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ritwik. Well, I am back with the monthly award segment, and this time it is for the month of September. So we have some categories to commend all the members of the club who have shown great growth in the previous month. Well, let me start by telling you that the president and the vice presidents are ineligible to receive these awards, which means the vice president education, vice president membership, and vice president public relations cannot receive these awards. So let's start with the first category. And much like my speech, I want all of you to be interactive, keep guessing who you thought could be the winner. So the first category is Screamer of the Month. This award is given to the member who shows the best performance on the basis of their club PR activities. So who could be the Screamer of the month September?
Zubair.
Yes, it is a hat trick. It is Toastmaster Zubair. Congratulations. Our next award is Comrade of the Month. This award is given to a member on the basis of their regularity and membership growth activities. So any guesses? Who could be the Comrade of the Month? Come on, keep it interactive. All right, I see blank faces. Well, let me tell you the winner. Yes, you guessed it right. Toastmaster Pooja, the winner is Ritwik. Congratulations. Our third category is Nurturer of the Month. This award is given to the member on the basis of their role taking and performance in the meetings. So any guesses? Nurturer of the
Ritwik.
All right, one vote for Ritwik. How about the others? One vote for Rashmi ma'am. All right, well, the winner is Toastmaster Rashmi. Congratulations on being Nurturer of the Month. The next category is Budding Nurturer. This award is given to a member on the basis of their role taking and performance in the meeting, provided that they've not yet delivered a speech or taken up any of the main roles. So who could be our budding nurturer? It's sorry, I couldn't get that.
Sanchit.
Okay, one vote for Sanchit. How about the others? It's one of the new members. All right, it's a hard guess, but the winner is Toastmaster Shanti. Congratulations. The fifth category is out of the box nurturer, and this award is given to a member who has done innovation in any role, the maximum number of times in a month. So do any of you remember who that innovator was a few meetings back? Any guesses? I can give you a hint. It was one of the listeners who innovated with their role.
Abhishek.
Yes, it was Toastmaster Abhishek. Congratulations. And now the last category. It's member of the month. This award is given to a member on the basis of their accumulated points in other categories. Who is the member of the month? Come on, quickly, keep guessing. The last category. All right, blank faces. Well, it is Toastmaster Rashmi. Congratulations on being the member of the month September. Congratulations to all the winners. And I'll be back next time. Over to you, Toastmaster Ritvik.
After all that being said, I hope everyone is motivated to work forward the next time. Now we have the most interesting part. I know there are some background noises, it's the middle of teacher time, so please forgive me for that. Whatsoever, let's move forward with the table topic section being hosted by Sparshita Verma. She is recently pursued her major in economics, the minor in psychology for ladies student college for women. Yeah, she's a senior of Shivangi, and she loves covering her textbooks with brown paper backs at the start of each year. Very interesting, I must say. So now let's move forward with the table topic section. Sparshita Verma, the stage is yours.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. Here comes the most interesting segment of the meeting, especially for guests. We all know that impromptu speaking can seem sometimes intimidating in circumstances like an interview or a presentation, which is why I have come to your rescue. And thus, I encourage everyone, particularly the guests and Toastmasters with no roles, to volunteer for speaking by raising their hands. In this segment, I will give a topic to the speaker on which he or she has to give an impromptu speech for at least 1 minute. The timer will show the cards to help you keep a track of the time. The green card will be shown at 1 minute, the yellow card at 1 minute 30 seconds, and the red card at 2 minutes. Please note, there is a buffer time of 30 seconds only on the upper hand, which means a speaker can speak up to 2 minutes 30 seconds. And now we can have an experienced Toastmaster as a first speaker so that the guest can understand how to go about it. So please raise your hands and volunteer. Okay, I can see TM Ritvik. Okay, we can continue with TM Ritvik. So TM Ritvik, your topic is my class scenario during the lunch break. My class scenario during the lunch break, Toastmaster Ritvik.
Well, the noises you can hear, similar voices, similar thing going on in my classroom, but with human voices. Yes, it was. Well, I must say, with this background music, it was completely a huge fun. I remember, stealing food from my friend's box. A personal story to add to it. It was the class before the recess. My friend was sitting, and we two boys at the end, in the last bench, we were thinking what to do. By the way, one of my friends' mother always prepares great, delicious, sumptuous lunch for her. We used to get really hungry. So what I did that before the last period, we went down the bench, took his bag, took out the tiffin box, and ate his lunch. It was Maggie with a omelette. Now, When we were going to put the tiffin box into his bag, the bell rang for the recess. We were awestruck what to do. And then suddenly he looked behind. He told me, "Arey, whose lunch is that? You didn't give me." So we told him, "Okay, bro, we'll give you next time." So he bent his neck to the other side. We put his tiffin box in his bag, and we were all chand bache, or quiet children, very obedient. The recess bell was rang. We all rushed to take our tiffin boxes out. And all that being said, we opened the tiffin box and we found no tiffin. God, what happened? He really scolded us, and we had to share our tiffin with him, which was not so delicious. At the end, we had this delicious meal. So, with this collegiality in our school life, we had a great friendship, great camaraderie, and with all that being said, I believe this is really a tiffin box cocktail that's going on today. Thank you very much. Over to the TTM.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Ritvik. And I would say I also have the similar experiences. And thank you to you for bringing a smile on our faces. Well done. So our next speaker. Guests are encouraged to raise their hands. So any guest would like to go next? Can you help me? Guest Joy, would you like to go next?
Yes, I would. Would you tell me, this is my first time here, would you kind of tell me the topic one more time?
Yes, I'll tell you the topic for the first time now. So, guest Joy, your topic is my memory. My favorite school memory, guest Joy.
My favorite school memory has to be the games we used to play in recess. There were two games, both had the name Ghodi or horse in them. Ghodi Ladai or horse fighting, or Ghodi Chadai or climbing on the horse. Every day when the recess bell rings, we will quickly finish our lunches in our tiffin boxes and gather in the hallways for the games. Ghodi Ladai used to be a game in which you will have one person lift another person on his back and then charged into the opposing team where there will be the same formation. And then the goal was to see who can drop the rider to the ground first. Any part of the body that touches the ground first, they lose. And we would break up in teams and go at it. We had broken noses, we had scrapes, we had lumps and bumps all over our body. But I have to say that our dedication to the sport and the enjoyment was the greatest. With collegiality, we used to play Ghodi Chadai, in which there will be a chain of people who will be holding on to each other's back, leaning forward. That would be the Ghodi, the horse. And then the other team will start out with the person who can jump the furthest, and that guy will come running, take a leap by putting both of his hands on the back of the first person leaning forward and go as far as he can. And the idea was that the entire team should be able to be on the Ghodi without anyone falling for at least 30 seconds. Once again, collegiality of holding on is what made us succeed. There is my fondest memory of recess during school. Thank you, Toastmasters.
Thank you so much, guest Joy. And I must say you were impeccable throughout the speech. Thank you for sharing your beautiful experiences with us and making us cognizant about a new game. So our next speaker, I could say guest Sarthak. So guest Sarthak, you can go next. Your topic is my best friend in school. My best friend in school, guest Sarthak.
Okay. So my best friend in school was a newcomer who came to my school in class 10th, if I remember correctly. He had come from South India to my school, and he had absolutely no knowledge of Hindi. He used to just talk in English and with some words of his language here and there. Now, for some reason, we got to sit together in school and we used to talk a lot, and soon we became friends. And over the course of those 3 years, this person was transformed so much that today he doesn't even he is not able to speak in English properly. Now he speaks in Hindi. And a few days back, I was very happy. I attended a Toastmaster speech given by him, and I was surprised that the person who 3 years back couldn't even speak in Hindi was using Hindi words by mistake in his speech. I mean, he did not. Hindi was his third language, or maybe even fourth, but still, our bond was so good that he came here and he was able to learn so many things, like everything. He learned our culture, our language, and everything. And over the course of his learning, he and I became very good friends. And I remember we used to play cricket and table tennis, badminton, and all, and used to share our lunches. He being from south, would bring dosas, idlis every day, and that would be at auction for the whole school to enjoy. And because in North India we don't have people come bringing that to our classes, so that's my best friend. Thank you.
Thank you, guest Sarthak. And it was evident how great an influencer you are. Well done. A great job you have done. So our next speaker, I can say guest Loveleen. So guest Loveleen, your topic is my first day of school. My first day of school, guest Loveleen.
Yeah, very good evening to everyone. I just hope I'm audible to everyone. Please once confirm.
Yes, you are.
Okay. Yeah, so I actually had completed my schooling from 2 schools. One from Andaman Nicobar. I lived there, and then I shifted to Delhi in 2011. And I did my schooling from APJ School, Sheikh Sarai. So which happens to be very close to my house. So I remember the first day I was obviously very nervous, and I took admission in class 8 in APJ School. I would like to describe about this day because I remember most clearly about this only. Yeah. So I was wearing a red colored skirt, I remember, though our school uniform was supposed to be light blue colored shirt with gray colored skirts for girls. But I didn't have, I didn't get the gray colored skirt stitched yet. So I wore my own red colored skirt, and everyone was obviously staring at me. And obviously I was nervous, but I was at the same time excited. There were butterflies in my stomach, but I was at the same time my excitement was up to the mark. It sort of outweighed my nervousness when I met different people, and fortunately I met people who are friends till date. And I got a very supportive faculty as well as the friends in my class. Like and also I got introduced to various sports because of my height. I got introduced to basketball, which I had never ever played in my life before. And thankfully, I got a good coach as well, who actually said that I'll make you shine like a star. Though I didn't reach that peak, but yeah, I did get to learn more about basketball as I progressed in my coaching classes. So that was a very memorable event in my school. And at the same time, I got to participate in different events. I was an introvert in school, to be frank. I was mostly sort of a bookworm, to be frank, and I was a studious girl, and so I wasn't very much interactive with everyone in there. I had a small group of friends, but yes, I would say that I am proud to be a student of the school because I have gathered my education from there, and it's my foundation, to be frank. So that's all from my end, and thank you so much for having me here. I'm having a great time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guest Evelyn, and I was really entranced by your speech. It was really good. Well done. So we can have our next speaker, TM Pooja. TM Pooja, could you please turn on your video? Okay. So
Hi.
your topic is the worst punishment I got in school. The worst punishment I got in school, TM Pooja.
Thank you, Spashita, for a lovely topic. Uh, so, I was very quiet and introvert child till class 8, but post 8, we started going on school trips within India only. So our first trip was to Delhi, and that was quite a long trip. I remember that was a 8-day trip, which included Delhi and Agra, and because we were not it was supposed to be a historical tour, and we were not obeying to the rules and guidelines as it was our first trip, and teachers were also scared of handling so many kids at a time, so we were given a lot of guidelines to be followed, and somewhere we were misbehaving. We were so when we were taken to I remember we were taken to a shopping market that time, and a group of friends, we just disappeared and went to McDonald's for a burger because I'm from Calcutta, and that was very exciting to see McDonald's that time. And teacher couldn't find us, and they got really furious when we came back to the bus. And later on, we were punished that we would not go out for one day, and we were made to stay back. So that was the worst punishment, I think, that we were out on a trip, and the rest of the people could do other things, and we were made to stay back. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, TM Pooja, for sharing your experiences with us. It was really a wonderful speech. Well done. Kudos to all the participants for your active participation. And now I would like to request the tech master to release the polls for the best impromptu speaker.
The polls are now on everyone's screens. We had 5 speakers today: Toastmaster Ritvik, guest Joy, guest Sarthak, guest Loveleen, and Toastmaster Pooja. Requesting everyone to vote very quickly. All right, we have all the votes in. Thank you.
I hope you are better prepared next time you tackle an impromptu question. With this, I sign off. Back to Tia Modi.
Thank you, Swashita, for conducting it the best way possible with those great topics. But can you just confirm, is my voice clearly audible?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. I'm maybe the first team out with some great background noises, some holy background noises. So let's keep that up. Now, with all that being said, I have learned something from my school life is that to rectify my mistakes. Okay. Well, I have already shared the story of when I turned to be a chain smoker back in my school days, but how my father came to my rescue, put those shoulders of peace, guidance on my shoulders, and patted on my back, told me that okay, it's fine to get lost in the highway to hell, but still we are on the stairway to heaven. So let's now rectify all our mistakes to know what the recommendations we can have, and let's move forward to something that I also had in mind. So over to the next segment, the general evaluation, where all evaluations will be done by the general evaluator, Zubair Qureshi. As far as he is concerned, he's an economy student studying in TU. He has a keen interest in sports and business, and his goal is to get an MBA in sports management. Well, his favorite school memory is flooding a floor in his school corridor because he unknowingly broke a pipe and spent a whole day making innocent faces. So he is actually having an innocent face, but not according to his acts. So whatsoever, let's take him to the stage. General Evaluator Zubair Qureshi, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. Big kudos to the PM Modi. He's really setting up the stage, and the meeting is really looking good and interactive. We learn by making mistakes, but for me, we learn by correcting those mistakes. And Toastmasters give a platform to make mistakes, and especially CDTM gives a platform to rectify those mistakes in the most humble and friendly environment. Welcome you all to the general evaluation segment of meeting 432. In this segment, you will get evaluation and feedback on your speeches. In any general evaluation segment, we have three parts. First is the evaluation of prepared speeches. Second is the report of auxiliaries and their evaluation by me. And the third part is evaluation of overall meeting. First up is the evaluation of prepared speeches. For that, I would like to call upon the first evaluator for the speech of first speaker, TM Shivangi Mittal, her evaluator, TM Faiz Kamil. The stage is all yours.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator. I really can't think a better way to engage with an audience in a virtual space. What the speaker has done today, one really need a nerve of steel to pull this up. Congratulations, speaker, for a wonderful job today and achieving another great feat here at Toastmaster. The speech was very well researched, had a great message. Path doesn't matter, destination does. The speaker was very confident, to say the least. Her hand gestures were perfectly in sync with the speech. Great usage of voice modulation. She kept the audience engaged throughout the speech. Cheers to the flawless delivery. I have struggled a lot today to find any area of opportunity in her speech. One thing I felt was that in her story, there was surprise of element was missing in her story, and I was literally waiting for her to explain Hobson's choice with more clarity and its origin and all. Maybe we have high expectation from the speaker, as she has already set a very high bar for herself. Other than this, there is no recommendation in the delivery part. Congratulations to the speaker again for setting the bar so high for herself and for everyone us here at Toastmaster to follow. And I wish her all the very best for her future roles here at Toastmaster. Thank you so much. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Team Faiz. Next up, I would like to call upon the evaluator of second speaker, TM Achal, her evaluator, DTM Deepak Menon, sir. The stage is all yours.
Would you agree that we are bonded in collegiality by procrastination around the world. Whether you agree or not, we've all been guilty of procrastination. Mr. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, and our speaker today, Anshul Jain. It was a topic that perhaps we all shudder about because we are all guilty about it. But it was very courageous of our speaker to bring it up and not only talk about procrastination, but also give us tips of how we could overcome this challenging habit that afflicts us. This topic was based on researching and presenting, and clearly our speaker today had done enormous amount of research to give us all the tips that she provided us. And not only the tips, but practical steps of how we could implement those tips. So kudos to the speaker for having been able to do that. What I also liked about the speech was the fact that the tips that she provided were very practical. And I could see how after the meeting, after the speech got done, there were people who commented about how they would like to use those tips. So good job there as well. I loved the facial expression she had while she was delivering a speech. She had a smile all the time on her face. Clearly, she was enjoying delivering her speech today. This speech could be improved further. And how can that be done? I would have liked our speaker today to have personalized procrastination. Now, we all know that Anshul is a practicing chartered accountant. And as a practicing chartered accountant myself, I am aware how our clients procrastinate all the time. If Anshul had started her speech not by asking us what is procrastination, but giving us a little story about procrastination by her clients or by herself, and then moved on to asking what is procrastination, and then finally concluded by talking about how procrastination has been removed altogether from her by her clients and by her in her firm, that would have made it a so much stronger speech. I would have also liked her to use transitions better than so, now, which was what she used when she transited from point to point to point. Clearly, those can be avoided. What I really enjoyed about the speech was the fact that she was able to use good language. I have seen Anshul from the time that she started delivering her speeches, and I've seen how her grammar has improved over a period of time. And I really would like to congratulate her for that. So great use of the tips that she provided. She can work on how she can make this more engaging by personalizing. And I think that she can be a fabulous speaker. All the very best and congratulations, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, sir, for such a crisp report. Next up is the evaluator for TM Rashmi. Her evaluator is TM Kashish Jain. The stage is all yours.
Thank you so much. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and the dear guests. And a special good evening to the speaker number 3, Toastmaster Rashmi Sikri. The one who knows the way, who goes the way and shows the way is a leader. And yes, Toastmaster Rashmi Sikri, you are a leader. First of all, I would like to congratulate you to begin your level 2 project level 2 in the Toastmasters journey and delivering a project 1 speech. First, the objective of the speech was to know the primary leadership style and tell some aspects about it. And yes, all the elements which were needed for this project was fulfilled by her. She started very enthusiastically by a relatable story that each of one has experience. While we enter to level 2 from the first one, we face questions. We are a leader. Are we a leader? There are many questions. So this added a cherry to the cake that she started with a relatable thing. Then the other thing, the speaker shared her journey chronologically. The starting journey was when she was fond of Bhagat Singh, Chandrasekhar Azad, the Subhash Chandra Bose, then her 20s, APJ Abdul Kalam, and then her teacher journey. The content was really well written, and she was very comfortable on the screen. Kudos on it. Eye contact was properly maintained. The hand gesture was commendable. Each speech needs some recommendations, but I have found only one recommendation for her, that voice modulation was a bit lacking. Her tone was little monotonous. So if you work upon it on a voice modulation, it will be very great for the upcoming speeches. Like the quote in the ending, you could have said it more energetically. It would have impacted more in the audience. All in all, with just a little recommendation, I would like to say that a brilliant speech was delivered by the speaker with all the elements required for an influencer speech. Then I would like to say that the speech with some recommendations will be stepped up to a very better level, and I wish her all the very best for her upcoming speeches. Thank you, and over to you, Toastmaster.
Now I would request Tech Master to raise the ballots for the best evaluator.
The polls are now on everyone's screens. We had 3 evaluators today: Toastmaster Fez, Toastmaster Deepak Mint, and Toastmaster Kashish. Waiting for more votes to turn in. All right, thank you. Over to you, Toastmasters Zubair.
Next up is the team of auxiliaries, the auxiliary role players. First up is the timer TM Darshan Singh. TM Darshan Singh, the stage is all yours.
Thank you, General Evaluator. I'll just share my screen. Is it visible now?
Your screen isn't visible.
Is it visible now?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay, so I'm back with my report. So starting with the prepared speeches, Toastmaster Shivangi Mittal took 5 minutes 25 seconds, and Toastmaster Anchal Jain just managed to qualify 7 minutes 30 seconds. Toastmaster Rashmi Sikri took 7 minutes 15 seconds. Coming to the table topic speakers, Toastmaster Ritvik took 2 minutes, guest Joy took 2 minutes 30 seconds, guest Sarthak took 2 minutes 30 seconds, guest Loveleen took 2 minutes 43 seconds, and Toastmaster Pooja took 1 minute 36 seconds. And coming to the speech evaluators, TM Toastmaster Faiz comment took 1 minute 46 seconds. Deepak Menon sir took 3 minutes 29 seconds, and Toastmaster Kashish took 2 minutes 46 seconds. So this was from my report, General Evaluator. Over to you.
Next up, I would like to call upon the listener TM Sanchit Bhujan. The stage is all yours, Sanchit.
Hello, everyone. I'm back with my questions. Are you all ready? So please raise your hand. Don't answer immediately, raise your hand and you will be addressed. So my first question is, Hobson started his startup in which area? Hobson started his startup in which area? Please raise your hand.
Yes, Suhaib is
Okay.
raising his hand.
Yes, guess Zuhaib, please go ahead. Please unmute yourself.
Sorry, he started with startup.
In which area? In which area?
Yeah, developing app.
No, it's a wrong answer, buddy.
Oh.
Anyone else? Guess Joe. Go ahead.
Yes, in software development and video gaming.
Yeah, right answer. Clap for him. And my second question is, what is the roadmap to overcome from procrastination? What is the roadmap to overcome from procrastination? Told by Toastmaster Achal Jain. Please raise your hand. Okay, guess Sakshi, go ahead.
I guess it is plan your day in advance, or the ABCD technique which has been shared by her.
Anything else? Roadmap. What is a roadmap? Actions. What actions need to be taken, ensuring that we will not be procrastinated by. Okay, guest Zohaib. Okay, our counter Mayuri.
Maintaining a to-do list.
What?
Maintaining a to-do list and
Yeah,
keep
right.
on working on it.
Right answer. And the third question is, which book was written by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam? Which book was written by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam? Okay, so I'm going with guest Sakshi. Go ahead.
Wings on fire.
Yeah, right answer. And my fourth question is, what are the name of those personalities who played pivotal role in shaping Toastmaster Rashmi's personality? What are the name of those personality who played pivotal role in shaping of Toastmaster Rashmi's personality? So I'm going with guest Zohaib.
Yeah, so in Rashmi's personality, there were so many people. She mentioned her mother, first of all, her mother and Mrs. Indira Gandhi, Shahid Bhagat Singh, and our president, APJ Abdul Kalam.
And
I remember these four names.
anyone want to guess? Guess Sakshi.
It is Subhash Chandra Bose, Bhagat Singh, and Chandrasekhar Azad.
And
Chandrasekhar Azad, APJ Abdul Kalam,
and
Indira Gandhi, her mother.
And right answer. And the last question is, where did Toastmaster Pooja go for her school trip? Where did Toastmaster Pooja go for her school trip? Anchal ma'am, why are you raising your hand? Okay, Anchal ma'am, okay, go ahead, please. Sorry.
Delhi to Agra.
Yeah, right answer. Thank you so much. You all were too much attentive and to participate in these listening skills. Please be more attentive and observant in all the meetings and in your day-to-day life. It will help you a lot in achieving your aim, your dream. Thank you so much. Back to Journal Evaluator.
Next, I would like to call upon the accountant TM Mayuri. TM Mayuri, the stage is all yours.
Thank you, General Evaluator. So for the R counter, I would start with the auxiliary roles. Darshan had a few R's. Darshan, Anushka, Navya, Sanchit, Sameer, and even Ritvik had a few R's in their speech. While only Sameer and Sameer Sameer used a few words, a few filler words like and you know. For the speeches, I would say Rashmi ma'am was flawless and Shivangi was also flawless. Anchal Jain used a few ands and had few short pauses, so would encourage you to not use them later again. Whereas for table topics, I would say guest Joy had a few used a few hours, and guest Sarthak had a lot of short pauses, a little bit hours, and used repetitive phrases like everything and all. So because it was the first time here, so don't be discouraged. Please do continue participating more, and it will always become better. Guest Lovely, similarly, you had used a lot of hours in your speech, and Pooja also had them use a lot of hours. While table topic master Sparshita has also used a lot of repetitive words like and so. While for evaluators, Faiz Kamal had used a bit few and all as their repetitive words. Deepak sir was like always flawless. Couldn't find anything. Kashish Jain had a few used a lot of R's in their speech, while they also used repetitive words like then and. So that's what I found. I myself was guilty of using a lot of R's and few filler words. So hopefully next time I'll do improve. So thank you everyone. Over to General Evaluator.
Next, I would like to call upon TM Navya Niti as the parliamentarian. The stage is all yours.
Thank you, General Evaluator. So all the rules were followed except that one rule, I guess everyone knows, switching on of cameras. I'd request all of you to follow this rule in the coming meetings. It would encourage all the speakers to get your feedback, and that's all. All the rules were followed. Thank you.
Next up, I would like to call upon the language evaluator TM Anushka. The stage is all yours.
Thank you, Zubair. I'm happy to see the word of the day was mentioned actively 5 times. So I would like to give a shout out to those Toastmasters who used the word of the day. TM Ritvik, Anchal, Rashmi, Deepak sir, and guest Joy. Thank you for using the word of the day in your engaging speeches. I would like to start with one suggestion. We could always improvise a sentence for more formal usage. So instead of saying I wanna, we could use I want to for a more correct usage. Otherwise, I have observed plenty of good usages of words and phrases. Words like epiphany, dilemma, contentment, ecstatic, inculcate, adorning, enticing, and afflict. And phrases like my personal favorite, being your own boss. And the word of the day was used in a phrase which was art of collegiality, and other phrases like clock is ticking, leap of faith, road map to be followed, power power to ignite minds and rattle my brain. Overall, the language was used correctly and speeches were incredible and engaging. Again, thank you for incorporating the word of the day and hope you remember to use your language correctly and include new words to enhance vocabulary. Thank you, and over to you, General Evaluator Zubair.
Now, I would like the tech master to raise the ballots for the best auxiliary role player.
Polls on everyone's screens requesting everyone to vote very quickly for the best auxiliary role player. All right, closing the polls in the next 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you.
So we are running a bit short on time, so I want all you to be all ears in. So first up, the speech evaluator, TM Faiz Kamil. His purpose was specified very well. He was addressing the speaker in third person and he followed the CRC approach. Recommendation, like he would have included more recommendation, like the speaker could have used more stage time. She was only for 5 minutes on the stage. Second up was DTM Deepak Menon. He is always flawless and it was hard to find his recommendations in his speech, but a recommendation while stating the purpose he was reading and it was looking like he was reading. So at that time he went a bit slow on his speech. Third up was the TM Kashish Jain. Well spoken, every part was commended of the speaker. A small recommendation to take less long pauses. Next up is are the auxiliary role players. First up, timer TM Darshan. uh, he really uh, he really told the importance of time through a real life incident. He was calm and easygoing. Recommendation, a guest specified that he wasn't able to understand the cards, so he must be better at that. And next, while changing the cards, I was a bit confused because sometimes he was showing red card and then he was changing it to yellow or green, so work on that. Second up was the listener TM Sanchit Bhushan. I really liked his intro. He had really good listening skills. The question was really good. A recommendation, I always expect innovation from him, so this time there was no innovation, but next time I expect more innovative ways from you. Next up was the our counter and TM Mayuri. This was her debut role, and I really liked her expressions and her vocal variety. She was very well prepared. A recommendation that I was unable to see her hands. She could have adjusted the camera so that I could see her hands. And uh, a time she was also facing network problem, so she must fix that before the meeting. Next was the again a debut role from TM Navya, the parliamentarian. I really liked her smile. She was smiling all the time. She took her time and uh, told her role really well. Recommendation, a time she was looking bit nervous and she was reading from her script, so next time please be well prepared. Next up was the language evaluator team Anushka. She well connected to the role. A recommendation, again, please don't read from the script. Next was the table topic master TM Sparshita Verma. She took her time. As always, she was smiling and taking her time, and the topics were very relevant to the theme. I really like that she encouraged the guests to participate more. Recommendation that she could have used more hand gestures and could have positioned the camera well. Next up was the next up the last part of the meeting, and this starting with the sergeant at arms. He was energetic. The vocal variety was really good, but in the start itself he used some filler words that like didn't give a good repo of the meeting, and he was looking bit nervous in the end, and I recommend him to use more smile in his speech. next up was the TMOD. He was very innovative and the topic was really nostalgic, and recommendation, the background noises could have been fixed, and he could have smiled more because it is like a very nostalgic topic and childish topics. And second up was the president. She had amazing amazing address to the guest and really used a good story that aligned with the Toastmasters purpose and missions. And a recommendation, she always use a story and motivation, but this time that was missing, and I really liked that part, the story part, but this time that was missing. I was really missing that. The meeting started on time and the meeting was really fun and interactive. The team OD really set up the stage. Thank you to the president.
Toastmaster Ritvik, are you with us?
I am so sorry for all that noises, and I'll be keeping the recommendations of the parliamentarian, the general evaluator, and a smile on my face, to be very honest. With all that being said, given we are short of heading with time, but I'll just take 1 minute. Okay, just let me share the screen, just to give you some nostalgic view. So this was my farewell day. My great juniors, great, I must say. So they had prepared this for us. And there comes this. We had gifted our school a telescope as a token of gift for the last day. This was a principal, sir, and the tall one being me. And the most irritating moment, morning alarm, most lovely time, meeting friends, school life. So this was a banner on our farewell day. This was some great treaties from the juniors to us. Okay, so it was a photograph. This was me and my brother for the last time in the school premises. Great photo, I must say. My friends in the washroom bunking the class on the last day. Again, me and my brother, my friends, and obviously CPS, Conda Public School. So with all that being said, so I guess nostalgia restored, and I am able to take in all those memories back. So thank you very much for staying here and having this meeting to a new junction. Again, the background voices have started, so I will get back. So it's Ritvik Das signing off with all of his enthusiasm about his school life, and over to TVM Shivangi, the president of the club. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ritvik, for taking us through our school days. And can we also have a round of applause for our general evaluator? I'm not sure about the listeners' ears, but a general evaluator is definitely someone whose ears start to listen everything right from 7:15 till the end of the meeting. A very important role. So thank you, Toastmaster Zubair, for doing it. So well, now it's time to vote for the best role player. The polls are now on everyone's screens, requesting you to vote. We had 3 role players today: TMOD Toastmaster Ritvik, Table Topics Master Toastmaster Sparshita, and our General Evaluator Toastmaster Zubair. We have almost all the votes in. All right. Requesting everyone to vote. Thank you. All right. So before I announce the results, I would request everyone to, especially the guests, to stay till the end. The guest briefing will begin very shortly. And now coming very quickly to the results. The first category is the best speaker. And without giving you an opportunity to guess, I would like to thank everyone because you voted for me. So thank you. Next category is the best evaluator, and I don't think we need to guess, do we? It was distinguished Toastmaster Deepak Menon, sir. Congratulations. Our next category is the best table topic speaker. And our guest Joy was the winner today. You won by a very huge margin. Congratulations. Next category is the auxiliary role player. The best auxiliary role player today was our language evaluator, Toastmaster Anushka. And giving her a very close competition was our listener, Toastmaster Sanchit. So a special mention to him. And now moving to the last category, the best role player. So the best role player today was our debutant general evaluator, Toastmaster Zubair. And it was a tiebreaker actually, very close to him was our TMOD Toastmaster Ritwik. So a special mention to him. Congratulations to all the speakers. And before I let you all have your dinners, I have an announcement to make. So due to some unforeseen circumstances, few of the EC members could not renew their membership. Hence, we will be holding midterm elections, and the posts for which the elections will be held are Vice President Membership, Vice President Public Relations, Treasurer, and Sergeant at Arms. Any of the club members can nominate themselves for any post. Toastmaster Ankit Sinha is the nomination committee chair. So whoever is interested, please submit your names to him. And we also have our speech evaluation contest coming up on the 26th of October. So all the members who would like to participate are requested to give their names to the Vice President Education, Simran. If you would like to participate in a mock evaluation contest, you can reach out to her. All right, now just one last favor from everyone, which is to switch on your cameras, bring out your smiles, give me a pose. Let's have a group picture. More cameras turning in. All right, can we have a pose? Maybe a V for virtual. This is our last fully online meeting. So let's have a V for virtual one last time. Thank you, everyone. So see you all next Tuesday. Some of us will meet physically, some of us online. I sure am excited. How about you? Well, thank you everyone for joining. See you all next Tuesday. The guests are requested to stay for guest briefing.